What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be talking about the auction house that is coming back in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM, and just a little bit about, like, yes, it is exciting. Yes, it was at the bare minimum needed, but it's not necessarily perfect yet for 2K. Like, they're not out of the water for what they did last year, and we've seen 2K do stuff like this before, like guarantee us stuff in the book and then go back on their word. So I'm just going to be talking about what the auction house being back means for the community on 2K's perspective, some things that they're probably still going to do, and what needs to be done to make sure that this is implemented right and implemented great. So obviously you guys can see here's just a picture. You start out with 20 auctions. I think it was 50 before, but as you do level up, you'll gain more auction space. And honestly, guys, I'm not super worried about the auction space in general. Now, if you are a big time sniper, obviously that's part of it that you're going to need to level up to gain more space, but again, to me, it's nothing too crazy. Now, this is the line that really gets me and really makes me talk about this, okay? To ensure a level playing field, the auction house has a zero tolerance policy on activity detrimental to the health of the mode. All transactions will go through a verification process to make sure the auction house stays fun and fair for everyone in the community. The love for the auction house is clear, and we are excited for its return. So, obviously, here's where I like kind of just get a little bit scared. Like, yes, the auction house needs to be strict just for the sole fact of what it was before, but on the same side of that, like, I feel like the auction house still needs to be fun. Like, you still should be able to snipe. You still should be able to make coins from, like, let's say this Amethyst Giannis up here, his price normally is 100,000 coins, and you snipe him for 62,000 coins. That it should not be a TOS issue. That should not ruin, quote unquote, the fairness of the auction house. That's just you getting a card for less than he does go for. But again, the other side of this auction house is this. 2K still has shown some unauctionable players in these in this breakdown. You guys can see in one of these clips this unauctionable pack. Okay, so right here, the weekly rewards, you guys can see an unauctionable pack. So unauctionables are going to be back in the game, which obviously I don't love. But within this, I think we could see some cards like last year's Michael Beasley that are only available via packs or only available via VC in the week. Now, look, I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily love that, but I do love the fact that at least with that Michael Beasley, I do believe, if I remember things correctly, you could buy him for a set price. But again, I don't like the fact that he's unsellable. I hate that. But just knowing unsellables are in the game, you've got to know, you've got to realize that the auction house is probably going to not be what it once was. I mean, I do believe that a simple supply and demand without MT sellers would be great for the game. Prices would be lower, supply and demand would run the game, and that would be ideal for everyone involved. And that is if 2K can do that. If they can, limit the amount of people that buy and sell MT, then this mode does not need anything else. And from 2K's perspective, they don't need to put the best players in the game behind a gambling only system. They can have them just be a simple rare player in a pack that people can put up on the auction house that can sell for, again, if MT bots aren't allowed, stuff like that, 300, 400, 500,000 coins. I see it in MLB The Show. I saw it in NCAA football. There's been no issues. And again, NCAA football was already banning people for purchasing coins. Like, it's not rocket science as long as they can figure out a vetting system, a way to do that. Then again, the auction house can be a simple supply and demand system in which, again, if you grind for a bunch of MT, you will be able to get your favorite cards in the game. And I think that's what makes MyTEAM is so fun, is when there's not cards in the game that are behind gambling only. When there's not cards in the game that you have to, I don't even know how to, like, you grind all week and then you have to gamble hoping you pull your favorite. Like, that's not how it should be. You should be able to grind all week, save up enough coins for your favorite card in the game. That's the way it should be. So I really hope when people see the auction house that right away, at least, they limit their expectations, because I don't want you guys to be let down when the first promo comes out and somebody is behind a pack only system. Because honestly, guys, the way 2K has shown us over the past year, that is how it is going to be. Now, obviously, I don't think 2K needs to do that. Let's say you don't really want a Jokic, but the Jokic is the best card in the game, and you pull him and you can't sell him. Well, then you're stuck with him. You can't make coins off of him, off the money you spent, stuff like that. And that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't know. Again, the unauctionable, unsellable cards do scare me. Obviously, we saw them in these rewards, and I definitely am not a fan of that. I just think that can lead to so many other downfalls of the game mode. But I do think the auction house was needed at the bare minimum. I think it was needed because at the bare minimum, let's say 2K does decide to every week put the best couple of players behind or let's say just the best player behind a gamble only mindset. And again, this is the worst possible situation in my opinion. At least then though, if it's not like it was last year, all of like the budget-ish cards you're gonna be able to get for cheap. And again, that's at the bare minimum. Now again, if all the players are accessible, it is a simple supply and demand situation in which, you know what, the cards that should go for a lot do, the cards that should be cheap are. And again, if they ban the empty buyers and sellers, there's going to be a limit to how much cards go for. Again, there's nobody on this game that's going to be consistently walking around with a crazy amount of MT unless they play the game as much as like a me or a Carlo when it is their jobs. If 2K wants everybody to go along with that rule, they've got to do a good job of banning people who do buy MT. Like otherwise it's unfair for the rest of the community. So I get your guys' side, I get 2K's side. I think it's something that, you know what, if 2K does a good job of banning people, nobody's going to buy MT anyways. Like it's relatively simple. It's like anything in life. If you don't want somebody to do something and you get punished for it, they're not going to do it, guys. They're not going to do it. So I really hope this auction house is implemented well. I hope every player in packs is accessible with the auction house. That needs to happen in this game because for this game to be at its peak, everybody should be able to buy their favorite cards. And again, if they ban MT sellers, they're not losing any money by people buying them off the auction house. They're not, because everyone that's pulled is again going to be bought off the auction house for whatever price that people do want to pay for them. So I don't think 2K is like losing money by doing that because the people are still going to open packs in a big time way, especially people who love like the just ripping packs. A lot of people just love doing that, so they're gonna do it continuously. For me though, I don't really love ripping packs, and the way I did it in NCAA football and MLB The Show was kind of just working the market a little bit. Not necessarily, I'm not doing anything that's detrimental to everybody else, but I'm working the market a little bit, selling cards when the market's high, buying them when it's low, and just kind of working my way like that. And that's allowed me to have fun playing the game. That's allowed me to build a good squad while using the auction house. So I do think the potential of the auction house is so much. Like I think that honestly with the auction house, and more than anything, the reason I'm so high on the game is everything else. It's a whole brand new game mode. That's why I'm super high on the game. It's not just the copy and paste that we've seen year and year again. It's a whole brand new mode, a brand new game, and the auction house is back. So hopefully, again, it is implemented correctly. And if it is, if 2K is banning the right people, no incorrect bans, no banning people for sniping cards either. And when I'm saying sniping cards, you're buying them for low. It's not like, oh yeah, I sniped Emerald Nick Claxton for not 9 million coins. Obviously, that's buying MT, and they do need to prevent it. It's not super hard to do, in my opinion. Look, if they do what they need to do on their end, and the 2K community has fun playing the game, this could be one of the best 2Ks of all time. On the flip side of things, if 2K does put players behind pack only, gamble only content, and go back to basically what they did last year, it's going to be kind of the same path. The auction house can only do so much. To me, it's more so on how 2K does implement things. So that's where I'm at when it comes down to this. Again, I love the courtside report. I think the potential of this game mode is definitely there. The auction house is super exciting, but it's just the beginning, guys. 2K, in my opinion, still has a lot to make up for based on what they did last year. Again, the game mode was basically unplayable last year for anybody who played it. We need to get back to the fun days of 2K, days in which everybody had fun playing the game. That's going to wrap it up for my video today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.